It's nearly every man's goal to find his dream girl and start a family. I've had hundreds, if not thousands of calls, and every time I speak to someone and I say, what is the end goal? What's the long-term goal? And they always say this: I want to find my dream girl and I want to start a relationship and potentially build a family with her. I made a video previously on the channel outlining the red flags, so what to look out for in the relationship or the girl that you're dating, and obviously weed out the girl if she's got those sorts of behaviors. Now, in this video, I'm going to go over the green flags, and what this is what you need to look for in the relationship. So we know what to avoid. Now we want to move towards certain types of behaviors. Choosing the right girl is probably the most important decision of your life, because if you make this decision badly, it is going to torpedo everything. However, if you make the right decision when choosing a girl, it's going to dramatically elevate your life. So in this video, 18 green flags, what to look out for. If this is something that a friend needs, if this is something that a family member needs, if this is something anyone that you know needs, send them this video. Could be very helpful, could change their life. Number one, after an argument, she wants to make up. This is such an underrated green flag that a lot of girls lack nowadays. They always think that the responsibility is up to the man. But I want to explain this with an interesting point. John Gottman studies relationships. He's a psychologist. He came up with what he called the 4 horsemen of the apocalypse. And these are criticism, contempt, defensiveness, and stonewalling. And he could predict, based on these 4 principles, with 90% accuracy, the success or the failure of a relationship. And what it meant is that if a relationship had one or a few of these different points, there was a much higher chance that the relationship would fail. Now, why is this relevant to point 1? That's simply because if someone is stonewalling you in the relationship, clearly they don't want to make up, and they are going to be a block. They're going to be a road bump to actually moving forward when you experience difficulties in the relationship. And obviously one difficulty that everyone experiences in every single relationship that you ever have, there are arguments. So that is point number 1. She wants to make up. It's a very positive trait. It's far and few between. Point number 2, good relationship with her family. And what I mean by this is having somewhat of a stable upbringing. And the reason for this is because she is going to feel familiar in that type of environment. And what this means for your relationship is that if she hasn't had a stable upbringing, she's going to have certain behavior that is going to attract that type of environment in your relationship, or she's going to attract certain individuals into her life that recreate that type of behavior or that type of situation. Again, it's not what she wants, it's not what's comfortable, it's what's familiar. If she's had a stable and loving upbringing, naturally she's going to attract that in the relationship that she has with you. Number 3, far and few between now in the Western world, but her priority is the relationship and family. None of this boss girl nonsense, right? Like, this is not attractive. Men don't want this in the relationship. If a man is working hard to provide for the woman that he's with, he doesn't want to have to come home and find a challenge. He doesn't want to have to come home and compete for power in the house. He doesn't want that type of mentality. He wants a woman who supports him, who prioritizes the relationship, and her priority is family, period. So if you find that the girl's priority is the relationship, if you find that her priority is family down the line, massively, that's another green flag. The next point is having a low body count. This is controversial in the Western world, but why is this the case? Why is it better for a girl to have a lower body count when you choose her to potentially be, your partner for the long term? Reason for this is because every time she sleeps with someone and she breaks that bond, which means she leaves that relationship, whether it was one night or 1 year, it becomes harder for her to pair bond down the line. So that relationship, when she sleeps with someone, becomes weaker and weaker and weaker. It's the same as using a piece of sticky tape. If you break off a piece of sticky tape and you stick it to the wall, it's got a strong stick. If you do it 10 times, obviously it's going to have a weaker stick. And that's exactly how this works physiologically when it comes to pair bonding and sex. Lower body count, ideally less than 5. The next one, she admits that she's wrong and takes responsibility. If you find a girl that actually admits that she's wrong, takes responsibility when she's done something wrong, that is a massive green flag. And the reason for this is because very few girls actually do this nowadays. Now, I know that people, if you're a woman and you're watching this, you're probably not seeing that. About 90% of my audience or 99% of my audience are males, but most of the time women don't do this, right? They change things, they change the facts to suit them after arguments or after doing something that they shouldn't have done. They don't take responsibility a lot of the time. When you find a girl that does, that speaks very loudly just in terms of who she is as a person, because a lot of people don't do that, specifically women. The next one, this is one of my personal favorites, and this is there are no games. If she likes you at the beginning and she's clear about it and there are no games, that is a massive green flag. If there are games at the beginning of the relationship, there will probably be games later on in the relationship. What do I mean by this? I mean, playing hard to get, sometimes being available, sometimes not being available. That's not necessarily behavior that you want. If you're considering a girl as a long-term option, if she's keen, she makes it clear, and there are no games, right? Obviously, she doesn't need to be overly needy. She doesn't need to be messaging you the whole time. But if you initiate with her, hey, let's go out, let's grab something to drink, you're not constantly receiving pushback. Oh, I can't do today. How about next week? Oh, I'm busy all week. That's not a girl that's interested. If the girl is playing games, move on to the next, or at least don't consider her as a long-term prospect. The next green flag is that she is supportive of your goals. Being in a relationship is like a team sport. It's you with her against the world. A lot of the way that modern day relationships are framed now, they strike me as the guy almost competing against the girl, and then it's them both against the world. That's not the way it should be. You support her, she supports you, you fulfill your role, she fulfills her role, and both of the roles, the role of the man, the role of the woman, should be to support each other in whatever goals they have. The next green flag, just positivity. There's nothing worse than being with someone who's constantly negative. What you want to be looking for is that someone always sees the glass as being half full, not half empty. The person that you're with dramatically shapes the way that you view the world. If they're positive, that's going to rub off on you. If they're negative, that's going to rub off on you. If she's positive, very big green flag. Next, she prioritizes exercise. Oh, this is so important. The foundation to any relationship is physical attraction. That's why you got together in the first place. A lot of the time people think that love is unconditional when you're with a partner. You just love them no matter what they look like, no matter what they do. The only person who loves you unconditionally is your mother or your sister or a family member or your daughter. Your partner will not love you unconditionally. It's just the way it is. And if she's not staying in good shape, you can't expect to be physically attracted to that person, no matter whether you're married to them or not. And if they're not, in my opinion, it's one of the biggest forms of disrespect in a relationship. So if she prioritizes exercise, green flag. Next, they treat people well when they are in a position of power. What do I mean by this? If someone is working in your house, if you're out at a restaurant and there's a waiter serving you, or the barman or the bar lady, whoever it may be, if as soon as they get into a position of power, they treat that person badly, that is such a negative behavior. That is behavior that you want to weed out instantly. However, if they treat people well when they are in a position of power, that is a massive green flag. That just shows a good quality. It shows that you respect people, and that's the type of person that you want to be with. If they don't respect people when they are in a position of power, they're definitely not going to respect you later on in the relationship. Next one, they are good with kids. Obviously, right? If you want to have a family, they're going to have to be good with kids. They have to like kids. If they don't, you can't have a good relationship with someone that isn't going to like kids later on if that is your main goal. And this should be clear. That should be one of the first things that you ask when you're in the early stages of the relationship. It's like, oh, do you like kids? If they don't, you can spend a bit of time with that girl, but you could never consider her as a long-term prospect, because how is that going to work? Again, if your priority is to have kids, to build a family, great. If not, then it's just not going to work out. Next, we have communication. Now, this is massively overlooked. This goes hand in hand with one of the first points that we went over, which is she wants to make up after you've had an argument, but it's a different side of the same coin. What do I mean when I say having good communication? If she's angry, she communicates with you. If she has a desire in the relationship, she communicates with you. And she does it from a very rational place, not always an emotionally charged place, wanting to argue. Because if she can communicate early on, that's going to avoid so many disagreements and arguments later down the line. And I see a lot of these Instagram memes that people post, where the girl just sits there angry and that's just the done thing because she's a female. That's absolute nonsense. That's just terrible behavior. It just means that she's a baby. It means that she hasn't developed emotionally, and she hasn't developed the communication skills to just have a normal relationship with someone. Obviously, if you're a guy, you need good communication skills as well. It's a very big green flag. If you find that she is able to communicate what she wants, what she needs, what she desires, when she's angry, when she's happy, big green flag. Plant that flag, if you know what I mean. Next one, kindness under stress. You see the worst in people when there is stress involved. And this is why oftentimes you could see a relationship, you see a man and a woman, and they are so good together. They're just happy together. They're laughing, they're smiling. And you think, wow, they have such a strong relationship. And then a month later, they end up not being together. A big portion of that is you can be good. Your relationship can be great when everything is going well, but when it's not, it's really not. And one of the main reasons for this is that one of the people in the relationship, whether it's the man or the woman, they cannot handle stress and they change. Now, if you can, what a green flag this is. And the way to do this is actually put yourself through areas or through periods of stress. I've heard people speak about this by saying that you need to go backpacking with your partner. I think it's a great idea. Going traveling or just standing the test of time, because stress will come up, whether it's moving countries, whether it's difficult family members, whether it's financial stress. It could be anything. Or the car breaks down. You never know what could happen. But in life, there will always be stresses. In long-term relationships, there are going to be massive stresses, whether it's kids, family members dying, pets dying, cars breaking, houses, losing houses, whatever it may be. And if the woman can withstand that and approach it from a calm, rational place and not lose her cool all the time, do that from a place of kindness, massive green flag. Next, she acknowledges the small things that you do for her. This is overlooked in a relationship. And it's good to have this from both sides, from the man and the woman. It doesn't matter if you've been with her for 5 years, 10 years, and you buy her coffee. She says, you know what, thank you so much for that. That sense of gratitude, again, from the man and the woman, is extremely powerful because it just shows the other person that you're grateful to have them. For example, if she makes dinner, thank you so much, that dinner was awesome. If she cleans the house, or if she cleans the bedroom, she makes the bed in the morning, she comes and brings you a cold glass of water when you're working, and you acknowledge those things. You know, same on her side. If you pay for rent at the end of the month, or if you buy her a coffee, or if you take her out for dinner, or if you do something nice for her, that sense of gratitude just keeps the relationship fresh, and it makes the other person feel respected. It makes them feel seen, and both men and women need that. Next green flag, she makes changes when you ask her to. No one talks about this, but when you are in a relationship with someone and you're growing together, and there are certain things that annoy you, certain behaviors, maybe from her side, that you know are not the greatest. Maybe it's that she reacts a little bit too much. Maybe it's that she gets annoyed about certain things. Maybe it's that she needs to start going to the gym. It could be a variety of different things, and you make comments about those things. Obviously, you sit down and you speak with her saying, look, let's talk about this. I'd like it that you do X, Y, Z. What are your thoughts on that? You fine with that? Great, let's do that. And you actually see that she makes changes. That is a massive green flag, right? Because she's willing to take on your feedback. She's willing to communicate with you in a rational way. And it also shows that she is wanting to grow in the relationship and for the relationship. If she's not willing to do that, if she's got this boss babe energy, he's like, nah, I don't want to do that. Why would I have to do that? That's going to create so much contempt for the other person, because it just makes you feel, as the guy, right, or the woman, that you're not being listened to, that they don't value the relationship. And quite frankly, you shouldn't either. If they don't value the relationship, then you shouldn't value them as a long-term prospect. Next one, she sticks with you during the hard times. Ooh, no one talks about this. When you go through hard times, which you inevitably will, especially if you're an entrepreneur, you're gonna hit some financial road bumps down the line. And if she sticks with you during those times, if she is 100% with you on your journey, as again, if you are an entrepreneur, you're gonna have to take risks, and sometimes they won't work. But the mindset is essentially, if you're in a mansion, she's by your side. Or if you're in a cardboard box on the corner of the road, she should still be by your side. The second last point, hold on, we've got just 2 left. And they are just as important as any of the rest. She wants to grow and get better. And this demonstrates to you that she's got the same values as you. If you're watching this channel, you are interested in growing. whether it's spiritually, emotionally, socially, financially. You want to improve every area of your life. And if your values are not aligned with hers, and what I mean by that is she doesn't really value growth that much. It's that simple. She doesn't really value improving with you. Probably one of the biggest red flags. If she does, it's one of the biggest green flags. And the final point is that kids like her. This is a massive green flag. I'm not saying if kids don't like her, then it's a massive red flag, but if they really like her, if they often smile at her in the street, if you're in a family setting and they're just attracted to the girl that you're with, the flag is very green if that's the case, right? And what I mean by that is that kids are like dogs, right? They know when someone has a good energy. They're a lot more perceptive to that. And if they are attracted to her, that just shows on a deep level that she has some form of good energy that they're attracted to. Again, green flag. I hope you've enjoyed the video. If you have any questions on this, book a call with the link below. And once you've found a girl with green flags and you want to start a relationship with her, obviously the most important thing is to keep that girl. And if you don't know how to keep that girl, the relationship will probably end. The reason I know this is because most of the relationships that we start will not go anywhere. And that is normal. But when you find that one girl, obviously you want to keep her. And to be able to do that, you need to know how to keep her interested. And that is why I made a whole video explaining exactly that. So click on it here. It will be either here or here. Bing, bing, bing. Watch that. I'll see you in the next video. If this has helped you, send it to someone else. Cheers.